Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and welcome back for debate part number 2, Hillary and Trump. So last week we ended with a lot of unresolved issues, and we're going to fix that this time, but in a little bit more of a structured setting. So, to that effect, here are the rules. Each party will have 5 minutes to talk about whatever they want to talk about. And momentarily I will be introducing Kavita, who will begin with 5 minutes of presumably discussions pertaining to why Hillary is great and why Trump sucks, etc., etc. After which I will then come in for 5 minutes, and then we'll have 2 minutes of joint debate / fighting / arguing. And yeah, so to that effect, and without any further ado, Kavita Bhatti.
Hi everyone, I'm Kavita, as John told you, and I am happy to see you again. Today I want to talk to you a little bit less about who I want you to vote for or who I want to vote for. I think I'm a little bit more concerned. I am extremely worried. I'm extremely worried in the direction that this country is going. Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that it's not about what Trump is saying. It's that what Trump is saying is catching on and nobody seems to be concerned about it. If you go in front of thousands of people and you say, I've got a judge who's of Mexican heritage, and I believe there's a conflict of interest, that he may not be performing his job with the most sincerity because he's Mexican. To me, that's very troubling. For someone to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, he's Mexican, but I guess that's not a big deal. If it's not a big deal, why would you bring it up? As a minority, I think it is very troubling for me to have to explain to people, yes, you know, the color of my skin is brown, but I swear I am patriotic. I swear I care about this country. I remember there was a time when there was a personal situation when somebody had actually run into my car, the back of my car. And I was driving home. I'd just taken an exam. I was a political science major at UCR. I was driving home after taking a final. And when I got home, I was turning into my street, and somebody hit the back of my car. He ran into the back of my car with his skateboard. And I got out, asked him if he was okay. He said, yeah, I'm fine. I just wasn't looking. I'm sorry. And I said, cool, you're okay? He said, yeah, I'm okay. I went home. It was about 15 minutes later, the cops knocked on my door. And they said, we heard that there's a hit and run, that you hit somebody and you left. And I opened the door and I said, no, we had a conversation. Everything was fine. Well, behind him were a lot of my neighbors. A lot of people along the street had gathered up. And there were so many lies about me. People were saying that, oh, she was drunk. There was honestly nobody around when this incident happened, unfortunately. But they said, oh, she was drunk. She wasn't paying attention. Who knows what she is? Let's arrest this bitch. Actually, if they'd called me a bitch, I would have been okay with that. But they said, let's arrest Gandhi and let's send her back to her country. They shouldn't be here. It was very heartbreaking to hear that. When it's your country, and here I am, political science major, US history was my most favorite subject. And yet, here were people, just because from the color of my skin, from my ethnicity, and they knew that I was Indian. That's why they said Gandhi, and they wanted to almost lynch me. Thank God for the police. Thank God for Rancho Cucamonga PD, that they, you know, spoke to the kid. The kid also agreed. He said, I ran into the back of my car. Luckily, there was a little scratch in the back of my car that showed that this is the spot he hit my car. I was very young. I didn't know how to handle that situation properly, but I was very hurt. And my heart goes out to the kids in university, in the university in Virginia, when they attended a Trump rally. And these kids who were black were escorted out, approximately 30 of them, who were silently just watching the rally, not making a fuss. And yet they were escorted out. And when they were escorted out, these kids were crying because they'd never been so outrightly discriminated against. This was outright discrimination. And as they were walking out, you could see that crowd screaming at them and, throwing stuff at them. It was disgusting. It makes me angry. It makes me angry that when you say make America great again, does that mean make America white again? That's wrong. And it hurts me. I hope you guys listen to what I have to say. America is a wonderful country. When you travel around the world, you realize how much love you have. Believe me, I went to Paris and people say Americans don't have respect in Paris. They do. I had so many people who would ask me, where are you guys from? And when we said America, they would actually give us directions and say, here we go. This is where you need to go. Because they appreciated the Americans being there in World War II and the service that we provided. That's why, again, it's important that we're part of the global community. It's important that we help our allies. It's important that we protect our allies from places like Russia. We don't wanna pander to Russia the way Trump likes to do it. That's just tough talk. That's wrong. Respect your people. Show loyalty to your Americans. We have a beautiful country. We respect one another. We respect each other's opinions. We respect each other's opinions so much that if you don't like the president, you can criticize him. If you don't like somebody who's in a more superior position, let's say political position, you can criticize him or her. We're free to do that. But when you talk about Trump, we're also talking about freedom of press being under fire. There are several news agencies that don't get credentials to participate in his rallies. He's against Washington Post because they reveal the truth. Freedom of press is very important in any democracy. You cannot have a democracy without freedom of press. You may not like what they have to say. That's cool. Criticize them because you have the right to do so. But don't give up your right to free press. That is so essential to every government that's out there. And I think America is truly one of the countries that has freedom of press. So let's not pick a president that wants to limit freedom of press. I'm sorry, I did say more than 5 minutes, but I had a lot to say, and I still have a lot to say, but it's time that John comes up, and he has something to share with us. He's going to be speaking pro-Trump, against Hillary, and that's cool. He's wrong, I'm right.
Good stuff, everybody. Very, very good stuff. Obviously, she's passionate about the issues, but you know what I find is interesting is in the argument itself, which was, presumably pro-Hillary, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just not very good at paying attention. I didn't hear one thing about why Hillary should be elected. It was mostly about race, which, not that there's a problem with race, I just not really sure how relevant it is to this issue. How many times has Trump said, I don't like minorities? Never. How many times has he said, I want to ban a specific minority? Never. When people indicate that, Trump is racist, yeah, those indications are based upon, his concern over this or his concern over that. However, notwithstanding, I would like to bring up a couple of points. First off, we'll talk about my opinions about why Hillary sucks. Okay. In a nutshell, she can't be trusted. Okay? Why can't she be trusted? Because she's a pathological liar, which is another way of saying a sociopath. Just not a good person. Somebody that lies habitually all the time for no good reason. Okay, so universal health care. It's a horrible thing, according to Hillary Clinton. Oh, no. It's a great thing. And she's got to stand behind Barack Obama because, universal health care is where it's at. Okay, so maybe that's just an isolated incident. 2002. Gay marriage is wrong. Marriage is between a man and a woman only and can never be between anything or anyone else. That is what marriage is about. It's strictly between a man and a woman. Sorry for Kavita's phone there. Anyway, skip ahead a couple years later when she supports the right to domestic partnerships, but hasn't really, jumped on the bandwagon and openly supported gay marriage yet. until 2013, when she believes, both as political policy and as a matter of personal opinion, that gay marriage is just the right thing to do, and it's wrong to ostracize or tell people that they can't get married. I personally agree with this. I think that your lying is wrong, and your flip-flopping on opinions, that's wrong. Okay, let's go back to NAFTA. And NAFTA is a wonderful thing, and that's going to save our country, right? At least that's what Hillary thought. Or did she? Because she came out later saying NAFTA was the biggest mistake of the Clinton career, and she regretted the fact that her husband was ever involved in NAFTA to begin with. So what's your opinion on NAFTA? I don't know. What's your opinion on gay marriage? Difficult to tell. At one point she was against it, now she's in favor of it. I guess what I'm getting at is, what's her opinion on anything? Does anybody know? Just because she says one thing and then immediately changes her mind to something else, such as Keystone. Oh, dirty oil is bad. Unless it supports my candidacy and my campaign, then it's exactly what this country needs. Now, isn't it? Clinton then came out and said that with respect to the Children's Defense Fund, which is one of her first jobs and something she touts nonstop, which, by the way, if you speak to the leader of the Children's Defense Fund, she doesn't really like Hillary, but she came out and in saying, and I quote, welfare reform was a tremendous success. And then when you ask the leader of that, I'm sorry, I did not put the name down, and I quote, who said that? I mean, if by tremendous success you mean no more food and no more help to the children who need it the most, and when I say most, I mean children in Arkansas, where Hillary Clinton is from, the first place to get welfare for children eliminated. Obviously she cares, so I would agree with that. Big hearts care. Big hearts matter. Okay, so now why does people like Kavita says that, Trump's propaganda and Trump's rhetoric is catching on? It is. She's absolutely right. Why is it catching on? Let me tell you. Because Freedom House, for those of you who don't know, by the way, Freedom House is a nonprofit that monitors the state of democracy globally. Okay? It's a nonprofit organization that monitors democracy. Freedom House says democracy is failing internationally because current generation of leaders have proven to be elected autocrats. Trump can't do that. He can't be an autocrat. Why? Because he doesn't need other people's money. He's not a puppet. So, anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is, Freedom House came out and said that countries with declining freedoms grew in 2015 for the 10th year in a row. Additionally, a Gallup poll shows that Americans' trust in the presidency and the Supreme Court is currently at near historic lows. Why? Because we have seen over and over and over again a history of overpromising and underperforming. So what everybody does, and a politician comes out and says, you know what I'm going to do? You elect me and I will make college free. That's what we need. We need free college. And then they get elected, and then you have somebody else say, hey, look, I know you told all those people you're going to give them free college, but remember that $4.8 million we gave you? Yeah, about that. We're going to go ahead and need you to come out publicly and say, not only is it not free, but you're going to raise taxes on college by 50%. How can I do that? I just promised everybody else to be free. Yeah, I know that. Do you want the money or not? That, ladies and gentlemen, is politics in the United States of America. That is modern day democracy. And that is why people internationally, not just in the United States, are losing faith in democracy. That is why the system is failing. That is why Trump is catching on. And that is why people are voting for him. Because regardless of what he says, they know at the end of the day that whatever he says ain't going to change. It's not going to be changed. It's not going to change because of this $4 million grant or because of that $5 million promise. His words are something you can rely on, and they're not going to move around. So, to that effect, I'd like to say a couple of extra things. One quick thing. Hillary Clinton said, going back to real estate, I figured I should tie this in, home buyers that paid extra fees to avoid documenting income should have known better. She blamed the crisis on the home buyers. Let's skip ahead 2 years later. What do you think she said? That's right, something totally different. It was the bank's fault. Wall Street should have never done that. They knew damn well what they were doing. How could they have done this to the poor home buyers? How can we listen to a goddamn word you say, lady?